Next up, Mason Taylor, LSU tight end, 6'5" 1/8", 251 pounds, 10-inch hands. He's only 20 years old right now. He's going to be 21 in May.
Second youngest, right?
Yeah, early May. Yep. He didn't run anything at the combine, but last year at LSU in 12 games, he had 55 receptions, 546 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. And he did that on 79 targets, 1 drop for a 1.8 drop rate, and 252 of those yards came after the catch, about 46%.
Yeah, Mason Taylor, if you don't know, his dad is Jason Taylor.
His uncle is
Zach Thomas.
Yeah.
Thomas. Two Bloodlines.
Two arguable Hall of Fame caliber players there. So, is Zach Thomas in the Hall of Fame?
I don't think Zach Thomas has made it yet, but he's one of those ones where everyone always shows the side by sides and why is he not in?
Why is this dude not in? Yeah.
So, the bloodline's there. He's a bloodline beauty. And when you watch the tape.
Bloodline beauty. I like that. That's some good alliteration right there.
When you watch the tape, the bloodline's showing. He's a very natural mover. Kind of
Did you see that dude's gauntlet by any chance?
I did not see his gauntlet.
It was smooth.
Perfect.
My favorite drill.
Literally right down the line.
See, I'll bump him up then if that's the case.
It is right there.
Literally right down the line. It was
It
crazy body control.
That's a huge drill for me at the combine.
Catches were coming so easily. Yeah. It was fantastic.
So, again, now...
And he was running fast down the line, too. Yep. He wasn't how some guys kind of jog it.
No, that defines the whole drill. You run full speed and you catch every ball very fluidly. That tells me... I'm telling you, that's one. I've said this on the show before. That's one of my favorite. The gauntlet's one of the drills that really show me if you're going to be good or not. Ladd McConkey crushed it. Yep. Mason Taylor crushed it. And this is where you show me right there. I would bump. I swear to God, I would bump him up a little bit off the drill because, again, he kind of falls in that category of not it's a school record, 55 catches, 546 yards. Not a ton, but he moves really, really well. He tracks the ball well.
This was another guy that suffered from some scatter shot quarterback play, we'll say, after Jaden Daniels left. So it was rough this year.
I thought he showed good focus. I thought he was able to adjust the ball late, snag the ball off frame, really good hands, 10-inch obviously, so he's very plucky there. I thought his route, again, he's so young, there's so much room to grow. And the fact that he has that NFL caliber genes, again, and knowledge of the game and how to handle the game, that goes a long way too. Obviously his speed, he's a 1-speed runner. He's not super fast. Doesn't get in and out of his breaks extremely well, but I see some signs there for him to grow. Not a blocker, but again, don't care about that overall. But he, like I said, him and Harold Fannin were pretty much tied for my tight end 3 overall.
I kind of thought he was a smoother. He wasn't as smooth as Loveland because I don't think anyone is. But I think he's a smooth guy, and he actually ran some real routes. Yeah. I started writing them. I saw a drag, a slant, an in and out, a post, a whip, a go. If you're a tight end, you can pull off a whip route.
Right. It's a tough one.
It is. There's a lot of sinking of the hips involved in that, and you're basically running it in and then cutting it back out to an out. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's a tough route to actually pull off, and he did that. So I think there's some sneaky athleticism. I don't think there is high-end speed.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that is interesting with him because he's not an amazing athlete, but he does everything
refined.
Well, smooth, refined,
natural.
It's all very natural. So yeah, it's one of those players where he doesn't have freak athleticism like you would have guessed with these kind of bloodlines. You would think oh dude, this dude's a freak. No, he's a good athlete. He's a good athlete.
Same thing. Harold Fannin ran a 4.71. You saw on tape he was fast enough. And that's where the 40 starts to he ran a 4.7. He ran it's fast enough.
It's especially fast enough.
It's a big field.
If you can run good routes.
And that's the thing. I think he does everything really well and
he's
naturally.
Big enough that if he gets a little bit of separation, he can catch the ball away from his frame. So that's a little bit of separation is a lot of separation when all of a sudden you can reach, way over here to grab a pass. So you know what I mean?
He finishes my 18th overall player.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to like here. I think Mason actually did end up as my 3rd tight end right now, above Harold Fannin.
Again,
and I relooked. I said 5 for Harold Fannin. I did at 4.
You have him at 4?
Yeah, Harold Fannin.
Okay,
4. So
no. And Mason Taylor ended up 3 for me. 3. Aurora for 4 for me. But I had both of those guys very close. But yeah, there's not a lot to really nitpick in his game overall, which is kind of the nice part is he's got a lot of the tools and traits that you would want. He does it all pretty fluidly, pretty smoothly. Now it's the question of like, I think he's got a safe floor.
Yeah.
And I think that's the nice part about Mason Taylor. The question is, what is his ceiling? And that's what I just don't know.
It's 20.
You know, he's young.
He could grow into a little bit. You know what I mean?
A little bit. He could hit at 25 and still have a 10-year career after that. Like,
I mean, this is David
and
Njoku age range, but he's not nearly as raw as
he's
David
way
Njoku.
more refined than Njoku.
So, I mean, I think this is he's an interesting guy just because I think at 20 years old, you can still kind of get faster. You know what I mean?
Oh,
that's not out of the realm of possibility for this dude to, you know, kind of refine the way he's training and gain some speed.
And the nice part too is a lot of times these guys, especially if they're legitimate prospects, sometimes they're only there because their dad's name, you know, like Brendan Rice last year, like he was there because of his dad's name. Like he wasn't, and we kind of saw that this year. He didn't get any run or anything. But when players actually on their own merit are legitimate prospects, it always gives me a little extra confidence because like they're more aware of how the NFL works, how the moment's not as big for them. It's not as shocking. He played at LSU, so big time program. Like he has a lot of like those little minute things that you can't really quantify,
correct? Yeah.
But it make you feel a little bit better about a player.
Yeah, he's somebody who's on my musket list. I will have some shares of him 100%. I think he should go in the second round of most rookie drafts, and he'll probably fall in the range of like when we do these shows where like, okay, who are the rookies that you want to trade for that do much? I think my personal opinion would be like, I think you're really going to get what you want out of a guy like Mason Taylor if it all goes playing accordingly. Probably 2027 is when he's going to become like a really solid asset for your dynasty team. So he's also going to be like a really good trade person to go trade for like next summer.
Yeah, after the year. Where do you guys see Mason? Last question. Where do you see Mason Taylor going in the NFL draft?
I can see him going in the second round.
I think he's probably good enough to go in the second.
I think that's where he's kind of projected by most scouts. You know, we're seeing at least I'll speak for Lance Zierlein. He has him as with a round 2 grade on him. So I think that's the case. And
so he'll naturally finish where we pretty much have him ranked as tight end 3 overall because he'll be the third tight end probably off the board, second round grade to a good spot, and people are going to draft him accordingly. But tight ends always slip in rookie drafts. They always do because people always want to fill those other positions, and everybody has a tight end who again falls in that mix of like
who
just
they feel okay about. Yeah, right. All right. So anything else on him before we move on?
Just for what it's worth. You know, we're kind of talking about like the range of where these tight ends are going to go and how we kind of talk about like there's 5 guys and then there's kind of everybody else. And that's kind of what the draft projections are saying as well. So you have the 2 guys that are supposed to go in the first round. Then right now, according to Lance Zierlein, the 2 guys supposed to go in the second round are Mason Taylor and Aurora. Then it's 3rd to 4th round for Fannin. And then everybody else is 5th round or later.
Okay.
So kind of what we've been saying is for fantasy purposes is kind of also true NFL.
That's why I like Lance Zierlein so much. Like over the years, like him and I have like out of all the draft analysts who I like read their draft scouting reports and stuff, like he's the one I've always aligned with. Like
the closest.
There's some guys we're like way off on. Like I'm like, what are you seeing? But like he's always
why did he like love it so much this year?
I feel like he's literally one of the best. He's always been one of my favorites since we've been doing like. Well, he didn't really come out until like 7 years ago. He wasn't around when we first started, but yeah, he's really good. So I'm glad we aligned. Same thing, like Dane Brugler's another guy. When he puts out his stuff, I'm like, oh, look, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
And then there's dynasty guys like Matt Harmon when he puts out his receivers, like, oh, we're aligned.
It feels good.